The Republican Party is obsessed lately with a few different things. Conspiracy theories about the election is probably the biggest one, but the trans community is probably number two. For some reason, and perhaps myself and our guest today, Bridget Todd, can debate, they have become they cannot stop talking about the trans community. Both elected Republicans, their online figures, hosts on Fox News, just talk about this community constantly, and never from a point of view of either understanding or an interest in ever generating any understanding about what the trans life experience is actually like. Bridget, what do you think? Because I know you've been talking about this recently in your podcast. What is this about and where does this come from?
Well, I think it's the fact that the Republican Party doesn't really have much to offer voters other than transphobia and stunts. And people can't eat stunts. People can't pay their bills with transphobic stunts like Marjorie Taylor Green likes to pull. I think really this is a party that has given up even the pretense of being interested in actual governing. And I also think we need to be very clear that the trans community is suffering right now. 2021 is already shaping up to be a deadly year for the trans community. And I think especially going after trans kids, using these scaremonger tactics like, trans kids in sports, bathroom bills, that really is an attempt to criminalize the trans experience in this country because people have nothing else to offer them. They have nothing else to offer the American people other than these kinds of stunts. And honestly, it's really sad to see, the trans community, particularly children, are already so marginalized. To continue to bully them to score political points really just shows you the kind of bullies that we're dealing with.
I'm predisposed to believe much of what you said, if not all of it, but I do occasionally like to play devil's advocate. So is it possible that this is just the latest in a long line of instances where Republicans have been very devoted to the cause of women's sports? Is it possible that that is just what they're really interested in here?
I mean, if that were true, I would like to see the Republican Party really crack down on the kind of predatory coaches that we see in sports. And those are not trans folks, right? Those are cis men. And so if that were true, we have documented predators who are preying on girls in women's sports. So I would love to see them focus their attentions toward that if that were really the case. And furthermore, there is not any evidence that trans people in sports are dominating college sports or children's athletics. There's just not any evidence. It's completely a made up, fabricated problem when an actual threat to girls in sports actually exists already. So if these Republicans are really so, concerned about it, the threat is right there. They should go after them.
Yeah, exactly. We were talking about it recently on our show that this is like, so Marjorie Green, what does she care about? Well, to hear her tell it, she cares about the threat coming from to female sports, and she believes in the QAnon stuff, which is about some sort of international cabal of pedophiles and child eaters. And yet, like that the gymnastics coach just committed suicide after he was facing. She's not interested in that at all. Like an actual pedophile in women's sports. Ho hum, not interested. You could at least pretend to care about the things you say you care about.
Well, I mean, that wouldn't lend itself to a big grandstanding stunt, right? Like she couldn't put a sign out front of her office that was, blasting that kind of thing. It doesn't lend itself to the kind of stunts that we know that she has to offer the American people. And people can't pay their rent with stunts, Marjorie.
I really appreciate you joining us, giving us your perspective on these topics. We've mentioned your podcast, There Are No Girls on the Internet. For people who might not be familiar with it yet, where can they listen to it and what do you talk about on it?
Well, you can find us on the iHeartRadio network. You can find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you get your podcasts. And really, it's the kind of conversations that you've raised today, the intersections of underrepresented identities like queer folks, Black folks, women, and the internet, and how we show up or do not show up in those spaces. So please check it out.
Bridget Todd, thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
Check out the Damage Report podcast each day, wherever you get your podcasts, whether Pocket Casts or Stitcher or iTunes. You can join me as I give you the news and stories you want, with a range of co-hosts and interview guests jumping in on the fun each day. Again, that's the Damage Report, wherever you get your podcasts. And if you get them at iTunes, don't forget to rate and review. Sometimes I'll read them live on the show.